So type 3 is Gem and the Holograms. They steer conversations, Enneagram 3s steer conversations towards, okay, well, I guess I didn't write this properly, but they are typically charming. Oh, and if you want to read this, you can go to the Substack. If I didn't already mention it, goblinsofdiscord.com. It's on the Substack. If you subscribe, I don't always send all of them to the email. Sometimes I just post it and I don't email it. And so if you have the Substack app, it'll just appear on your app at some point, I assume. Just because I hate getting spammed, so I don't like to spam people. If I post a bunch of articles back to back, I don't send them all out to the email. Anyways, so 3s are typically charming and like to keep things shiny. They will often steer conversations to their success, achievements, where they shine, how they're valued, who thinks they're impressive. They can compare themselves a lot. So this can range from subtle brags, who they know, who desires them, what they've accomplished or are good at, to outright positioning themselves moment to moment in a favorable or aspirational light. And this will differ depending on like what their tri-type is, like how aggressive this like kind of I'm impressive. Like, if they have like an 8 fix or a 1 fix, it's going to be a lot louder. If they have a 7 fix, it's going to be louder. 369s, 359s are like kind of less obvious with their braggadocio, but they're still going to be doing it as impressive image types that are like the vanity and deception types. So as deception types, they can massage truths, which may or may not implicate or denigrate others. And like you might not know this if you just meet a 3 for the first time. Like you won't know that they're massaging truths. This will be something that will just become apparent to you like more over time. Or if you've got like a very strong bullshit detector, you might notice that they're being kind of fake, like or that there's like holes in their stories, or that they're sort of altering their persona to fit who they're talking to be desirable or impressive. Um, and often like how they like in my opinion, how they sort of denigrate others is almost like through triangulation, even if they're not like a sexual type. So like they can triangulate through like this person wants me, but it can also just be like um they'll talk about a coworker who's doing worse than them, so then by proxy they're doing better than the coworker. And they do this like unconsciously a lot of the time. This was just like a pattern that I personally observed like when I started realizing specific people in my life were 3s, and I was like, they always do this thing. um and so sometimes it can be subtle so that you can't outright accuse them later. So 3s are also really good at like kind of covering their tracks moment to moment, so that they don't get busted. Again, this is like it's kind of like something that 9s do a little bit too, but like 9s do it more as like a vague white lie, and 3s do a similar vague thing, but the vagueness is centered also around like positioning them in a more impressive or putting somebody else down, whereas 9s are usually like being more passive aggressive than anything else, or like it's like a plea for help, or like this person's mean to me. um 3s can do that too, actually, especially with a 9 fix. But anyways, I digress. Trying not to go too off script here, but it's happening. um I've been making a lot of weird noises in this video, but I don't want to edit it. I'm really hopeful I don't have to edit this. In order to highlight their most impressive traits, experiences, or skills. So this is what 3s are sort of doing. And as vanity and deception heart types, like I already said, 3s are always unconsciously and consciously weaving narratives, which is what all heart types do, to intoxicate their ideal audience into desiring, admiring, or trusting them towards an optimal outcome. Optimal for the 3. So their attention can feel quite special, but it might just be that they're zeroing in on you to extract information, to see what you offer, where you fall short, what you need, like how they can get something out of you. Do you have value? Are you worth investing time in? And how it aligns with their agenda. Specifically, it will like they're not going to usually like put much time on you if putting time into you doesn't further advance some kind of agenda they have, which might not be obvious to you initially. So um but yeah, 3s have a way of making you feel chosen, um or like special, kind of, because often it feels like you're getting attention from like a kind of high value person when you're conversing with them. If they like you, if they don't like you, it's going to be a very different story where they might like put you down and dismiss you and stuff. But especially 3 and 4s. So the subtext of interacting with them is like notice it, be impressed by it, or you go in the burn book slash girl boss grimoire. So 3s do not like being ridiculed, put down, one-upped, dismissed. They do not like that, and they will notice it. And you might make an enemy, to be honest. I've made a lot of 3 enemies over the years from not meaning to do that, but doing that. How they hijack the conversation is they can get competitive and engage in one-upmanship or subtle put-downs. They can also, and again, like it can be subtle if they're like 369, 359. If they've got that 3-9 thing going on, it's like more subtle when they're doing it. It takes a while to really notice it. But they can also center the combos too much on superficialities by keeping things above a certain level of polish. Like they might talk about deep topics, but they're not actually going deep in terms of like they're not like revealing a lot of vulnerabilities. Or if they are, it's kind of like a calculated story that they trot out. It's not like they're actually like opening up to you. It's like this is a story that I use to gain somebody's trust. I'm really being roasty in all these videos with when I'm talking about 3s. I can't help it. I'm sorry. I've been wronged by so many 3s at this point that it's like I don't know how to frame it anymore. And yeah, so they do this also. They like to keep things above a certain level of polish so as not to get too in the mud with the commoners unless they're trying to extract dirt on you or manipulate you or like you can trust me, and then you're telling them your secrets and maybe they want something from you or they see you as a rival. They don't want you bringing down their brand with yo stank though, usually. So usually if you're like a real sad sack, they're gonna kind of like avoid you most likely. There's often a third party being brought into their dialogue. So this was like one of the first tells that I noticed with when I started typing with 3s was like they're often bringing like they're triangulating a lot with their dialogue. And it's like again, like I already said, like using people as props to make themselves look good. Kind of like it's a little bit oily salesman-y, like here's why my company is better than the other shoddy company, but they won't like be often like literally saying it. It's implied, so you're the one connecting the dots. So again, this is more with the 9 picks that 3s do this. Or like it might be like kind of again, this is like just like a generic example, but you can apply it across multiple meanings. See the excellent results this buyer got with my services. So they're like promoting themselves essentially and whatever their dominant instinct is. And it won't be as literal, but if you start feeling yourself being sold on someone's agenda or vision and recruited into their web, you might be talking to a 3. If you're like, wow, they're really impressive, but it's like not because they're like, I mean, they might be impressing you through action too, but they're likely also giving you testimonials in the process, if that makes sense.